Maybe I should mute the stream.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tactical Gaming's Q&A event night. Say hi everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
There we go. Okay.
Dimitri, it's off center, just so you know.
Yes, I am fixing that now.
So I appreciate you guys all coming out. This is Squared, in case you don't know my voice. We do have a pretty good representation here. We have Lady Muskie and Butters from PS4. Xbox has Kai Kana and Dungeoneer. And PC has Namaton and Dimeter.
Yeah.
And Broken Angel is here to ask questions that you guys have submitted. So yeah, and then if we do have time or any good questions come through on the stream, you are more than welcome to ask those. And sorry about that, I am under attack by some dogs. So Broken Angel, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start.
All right, we're going to queue up for a game while we do this.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Broken Angel. I'm part of the PC Brigade. I am the squad leader for Carbon Fiber, and I will be guiding you and moderating the questions to the COC. So I'm going to be mixing it up between questions that have come in previously and that H Squared has assembled for me to read for you, and reading questions from the chat room. Please keep them appropriate for this chat session. Anyway, so our first question goes out to anyone in the COC. Do you believe wholeheartedly in big memes and dreams?
I would personally say that would completely depend on which meme and which dream.
Okay. Anyone else want to weigh in?
Like, meme is life. Memes are our life.
Memes are alive. Okay.
Let's go red marker, guys.
Second question. Who is the best PC Overwatch 1st Battalion player?
We lost Dungeoneer.
I think I don't know. There's a lot of really good players in the PC Brigade. We got a lot of talent, and personally, everybody does their job and does it really well. I can't really comment on that one.
Okay, our next question comes from the chat room. It's from TG Vicious Eel. It is, which is better, Fortnite or PUBG?
PUBG.
PUBG.
Overwatch.
I like the Overwatch one.
I'm just gonna, let's see. Problem.
So what's going on right here?
We are currently landing, and we are trying to find some weapons, get some resources, try to, win at least, or come close to winning, maybe. I don't know. Probably won't.
Getting that chicken dinner?
Yeah, win a chicken dinner.
Fantastic. So, for those people not familiar with Fortnite, what would you say this game is close to?
PUBG.
It's exactly like PUBG, except it has a sandbox feel to it.
Okay.
As it allows you to build structures, really manipulate the whole entire height advantage at your own will.
So, Minecraft with guns.
Yes.
All right.
Kinda, yeah. And it is free. That's the other plus to this game.
Yeah.
But I don't know if free outweighs
Quality or?
game compared to. I don't know. I definitely prefer PUBG, but I wouldn't say PUBG is better quality on Xbox. At least it's not.
Yeah, I have some lag, so I don't know if that's because I'm queuing on the American servers, or I don't even know what servers we're queuing on.
We are currently queuing on North America, West or East Coast, sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, voters, I'm going to head southwest by 195 towards the house.
Easy, nice. I think we're all following you, Captain.
Extempa Superior 2, I don't know if you're getting lag yourself, but I'm following Demeter at the moment on the stream.
Yeah, you might want to back out and try and come back extent because I'm not having any problems watching it.
Okay, why don't we go for another question real quick? Okay, this question was asked by a few different people. This is for you squared, by the way.
Yeah.
When are we changing the squad opening requirements from 8 to 6?
So I definitely understand wanting it to be 6 because that's obviously the squad, like the inside the game team size. However, attendance across the board as a whole definitely doesn't support that. The number of squads that have more than 6 at practice is very, very slim on any given day. It's usually, 5 or 6 total, and that's with a total of 8 possible people to show up. So if we changed it to 6, you guys would basically never have a full squad to play with. So I don't see that changing anytime soon. The only way that it would change would be potentially if all of our squads continuously had more than 6 people, then I could potentially pass it up and try and get, the upper CSE from me to approve that. But it's always been the lobby size plus 2 is the TG rule, just because of how attendance generally goes in practices.
Thank you, squared.
No worries.
We're
Ooh,
stuck
I have
just
a floor
watching
chat.
Demeter, aren't we?
Yeah, he's the streamer. So.
Yes, Broken, I am streaming tonight. I am sorry about that.
No, I was thinking, wow, this would be so cool if you could switch between characters like you can on Overwatch.
I wish that was a feature for having a spectator, actually. I'm heading up this hill here towards that broken down barn / shack. There should be a chest up top.
I'm getting stuck at walls and stuff. It's fun.
So maybe it wouldn't be so much fun to watch now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be fantastic to watch how the console players are adjusting to
I got a pocket fort.
PCs.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is a cross-platform game, but unfortunately, most of us either didn't realize that or didn't try it out beforehand, so it's a little difficult. I believe, Butters, you're actually playing on your PS4 though, right?
I'm playing on PS4.
Yeah, so we do have one person playing on their actual console instead of PC.
Fair enough.
So
Such a
you guys should all follow Demeter because apparently one of the questions we have meets right in with this. It's Demeter, do you know the way?
I know the way, but the way be closed. Unless you're Symmetra, then the way be open.
I hate that question.
Dead me. Come on. Ban the guy that asked that to girl. Okay, let's see. I don't even know how to build. This is funny.
You hold, at least for me, it was you hold F1 and then click.
You don't need I don't think you have to hold it. You just press.
Okay. Well, I held it.
Oh, that's your
It's always fun to hear the console players get confused when there's more than one button to press or more than 4 buttons to press.
That's pretty good. I like that.
There are way more than 4. So.
Yes, sir.
Do you want a jump pad? I think you know best when to use them.
Yes, I would love a jump pad, actually, sir.
Come to me. It's on there. Out there.
1 second. Thank you.
No problem. So if wait, so there's only 30 people left in the game, or am I?
Yes, there's 30 people, including us, left.
I see some structures that seems to have been built around like 290.
Yeah, that was a recent battlefield.
Yeah. We have a question from Jay Andrade70. He says, "From which games do you guys come from, or what did you play before Fortnite and or Overwatch?"
In terms of like shooters, or
Guess
I
just
don't know.
anything.
I think he wants to know, what were you playing before you got into the cool games?
We got shooting going on. Hold on one second. I personally played, Gotta build.
I can answer while I'll answer while he's trying to not die. I came from Halo Division before I switched to the Overwatch Division. We're all
I got knocked.
in Overwatch right now. We're just playing Fortnite because it's a free game that we can play on multiple platforms because we do have people from PC, PS4, and Xbox here.
he's resting his friend. Do you want one more?
I've personally played Call of Duty. I've played Battlefield. I've played a lot of games. And I even go as far as Minecraft, Terraria, Space Engineers. I cover a lot of genres.
Same here.
They're throwing grenades, guys.
I hear that. No.
Oh, jeez.
For the record, I did knock one.
Hey, I tried to warn you about the grenades. I tried to.
Yeah. Well, I will state that I didn't think that grenade were in my range. That's why I stood still next to it.
Grenades in this game actually have a very big range on them. They're, I tried to play Destiny 2 EO as I'm watching the stream here. Don't really like Destiny anymore.
Yeah. I started out in GG with Destiny 2 Division. Playing the Destiny 2. Problem with the game is that it died so quickly.
Alright, we're going to return to the lobby here, get another game started. Broken, you got more questions for us?
Sure. All right, this is for anyone while you're all free. What exactly are the duties of battalion staff and division staff, and can you be part of a squad and be battalion staff?
Squared, do you want to answer division part first, or Kai, would you like to answer the division part first?
Square AFK or?
I'm here. I'm just trying to give y'all a chance to answer questions. I have questions that are just directed at me, so I prefer not to answer all of the questions.
All of the questions.
All of the questions. Battalion staff handles a lot of the back-end work of tactical gaming, graduations, paperwork, promotions, everything internal. Pretty much anything you guys submit via member updating and everything else, including tracking and all that other fine stuff that we do on the backside. For division staff, that would have to be a Kai or a Squared question, but obviously Squared does not want to answer anything tonight.
That's not true. What was the complete question for division staff part? Sorry.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Can you read the question again?
It says, what exactly are the duties of battalion staff and division staff, and can you be part of a squad and be battalion staff?
Okay. So, division staff-wise, I mean, it's basically, at my level as DO, it's making sure the entire division is running smoothly, coming up with cool things like this, and other division-wide events to try and help bring us closer together so that we're not just individuals, but we are more of a unit. That's a very special parachute there in diameter. You distracted me. I don't have a cool one.
He's the Mary Poppins of Fortnite.
But it's just basically making sure everything's running smoothly is the main big picture idea. For division staff, and then helping to make sure that the division continues to grow, and evidently it's watching your battalion staff die. It's my job.
No, I'm carrying.
We got a question from the chat room. Birdman, or the Birdman, wants to know, how do you guys see the near future of Overwatch changing regarding toxicity and frustration in queue?
I think they're doing a lot better with it. Honestly, I think it's been better than where it was headed. It's hard to control that in any multiplayer game where you need to be working as a team. And I think that's having that 6-stack is in your squad is essential for kind of avoiding that. And I think that's what TG is great at. I mean, we don't really get that as squads, I don't think. I think you get that more when you're solo queuing or when you're looking for randoms through LFG, right?
Definitely, I agree with you on that.
Like, toxicity will always be a part of a community because that's just how people are. The problem is that they really need to fix the system, and well, for me, I've got a lot of messages telling me that, like, thank you for reporting this guy or a girl that he or she has been banned, and so on. The thing is that more people really have to start reporting the people that are toxic if we want them removed from the community.
Not only that, Overwatch does now have that avoid as teammate feature that people can use.
Fair enough, but they had that in the beginning, but they choose to remove it because people basically used it to get higher SR. They just basically avoided the people that they lost against because they were too good, and then they could just climb and be against the bad players.
But you can still be placed against those people. Avoid just avoids putting them on your team.
Okay, fair enough then. Then that's a good change to that rule. Because this was back in like season 1 when they had that you could, if you reported a player, you never saw them again. I don't know how to do that. Stop bullying me.
I mean, I know it's an issue every game has. I know I've played a lot of Siege, and that's the toxicity is terrible in that game too. It's just that's the nature of these types of games. Unfortunately, people like trolling, and
Rogers, do you have any healing?
companies are doing the best to avoid, not have that in their community. They don't want that in their community. They're not trying to promote it at all. It doesn't make them any money. They want to get rid of it, but it's hard to come up with a solution for that.
Yeah.
You go.
Oh. took your sweet time. Thank you. I'm just gonna say this, I don't know, I think I'm fine. I'm just gonna say this, I'm sorry for my teammates, they were douchebags, they killed you, even though I was alive, and that cost them the game, so. I really need ammo. Like, I'm fine at the moment, but I'm fine right now. Like,
Sorry, I was muted there. I'm trying to ask you a question. SoulSword13 wants to know, can we get a Lionheart squad on PS4?
Lady or Butters, can you guys answer SoulSword?
I mean, right now we are opening a new squad within the next 2 weeks. So, hopefully.
I know that name is available, so, we can see.
Better?
see if that one gets the votes. I know PS4 for when you guys do the squad names, you've been letting the people vote on it. So
Yeah.
it'll just depend.
People have been here.
If they vote.
Dungeoneer.
Hmm?
What is your most and least favorite Overwatch character to play?
What is my most favorite? Moira, because it just upsets Kai so beautifully. Moira. She cannot stand my Moira. But no, honestly, I much prefer. I do heal. I much prefer to play Sombra because I think that Sombra, after the fix, and again with the unnecessary nerf, but after the fix, they made her a lot better to play as, and that helped. Yeah, it's always fun shutting other people down. So, playing my least favorite to play, ooh, that's a tricky one because I don't mind playing as most of them. I would say it's a toss-up between Doomfist and Genji, just because they are so drastically different, in my opinion, than anything else in the game, as far as how you play them. So for me, they are the ones that are the least to my liking when playing. I will play anything else, but if you want me to play those two specifically, it's not going to go well.
Okay, we have a question for Demeter, or should I hold this one until he's actually in combat again?
Hold it to combat. That's more fun for me.
Exactly. Oh, is that dub drop or what's that?
That is a supply drop coming in. You should be able to see it on the horizon someplace. It looks like a blimp coming down.
Ah, yeah, I see it. Should we go for it? Alright. For fun?
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, you know, I do have a sniper, but I do have one round for it, so
Make it count.
hopefully. Wait, is that's not looted, right? No, it's not. That was the question if I can, you know, get up there. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, ammo.
Let's go watch him try to build.
Done. What's this?
Think of it as a bomb stuck to a plunger that you could throw and stick to stuff.
Fair enough. I see the drop, but I don't see people on it at the moment. The drop is like, I don't know, for you it's like south. Others.
I did.
Make sure you guys build a box around that before you open it.
You're telling us. I don't know if you actually know like how to do that fast.
Okay, our next question is from Jay Andre. If you guys had the power, what changes would you do on Overwatch?
Put Mercy back to the way she was before they broke her.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the Mercy does need to be
Please.
fixed. Honestly, I would change one thing about Moria, and that would be the extent of her range of her left click.
Increase it or decrease it?
Decrease it.
No, stop. You can't decrease it. Come on. It needs a longer range. Come on.
Namaton, you missed a chest, man.
Oh yeah, I actually did. Fair enough. You know, I'm done. I have my loot, so I'm happy.
He's set up to win this for us, guys. He's going to get us the chicken dinner.
I would also do something with Brigitte.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I said that. Nerf Brigitte.
Yeah, she needs a buff.
I'm sorry,
I said that.
guys, you're breaking up. We can't hear you. Just Brigitte's like the perfect character right now. So what you say is it now?
So she gets hit so hard.
Her time's just
With
needs
the
to be a
buff,
bit
yeah.
longer. That's all that they need to do. It's just a little too short for cooldowns right now.
And maybe make it to where not like every single thing in her kit does a stun. I mean,
How do I actually cancel when I put? Oh, that one saw that.
Just switch back to a weapon.
Fair enough.
I don't know about you guys, but my on console just feels super annoying right now.
The Brigitte
There's
or-
Makes always
19
been
members remaining in this match, guys, and there's a chest right beside you.
Squared, where are you going?
annoying.
Squared goes where
That's a good question. Where is she going?
Us Overwatch players, you know, you give us a map with no borders and we kind of go crazy. Like, where am I supposed to be?
Where's the payload?
But
I'm looking for that. So
wait, is purple or gold better?
Gold is better.
Okay, fair enough. Butters, come here.
Swap the purple for someone else.
There is a purple handgun for you, and I have a big shield for you if you need it.
Okay, we got a chat room question as a follow up to the Brigitte debacle. What should you focus on when trying to get better at becoming a better DPS to stomp Brigitte?
Honestly,
Patience until waiting for the nerfs.
honestly, the one thing that counters her right now is long range. So any projectile hero pretty much can stop her. Like Pharah can be well out of her range and still do massive damage to her.
In my experience, Ryan can also beat her 50% of the time, which is about better than most of the other close range people.
I would say the things you want to avoid is try and bait out her stun or use explosive, because explosives are very powerful against her. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but her shield does not protect her feet all the way. So if you play like a Junkrat and fire your bombs, or a Diva and you fire your rockets at her feet, they do actually do damage even though she has her shield up.
interesting.
That is also why Ryan's Earth Shatters puts her on the ground.
Yeah, you really need to have like a very perfect shield place if you want to block a Ryan's shatter. Because if they just look a bit to the right or left, they will be stunned. Butters, do you want a shield or?
I don't really use it right now.
I do have. You realize that you have a 50 shield and you can have 100, right? Say.
Can't add shields. Can you add? Where is a big shield or something?
Yeah, here.
Okay, we've got a question for Square. Would it be possible to set up some sort of TG community fund where members of the community could donate money, optionally of course, to help support others in the community? For example, if someone needs a headset because it's broken and they didn't have the money for a new one but needed it for practice, the fund would be able to help them get a replacement. This could also be implemented for new controllers, mice, keyboards, copies of Overwatch that are broken. It's just an idea I've been curious about. I don't know who that question came from, but that's one of the pre-submitted questions.
Squared, get that back.
Yes.
I mean, it would be something we could consider. It would have to be if you wanted to pass it up your COC. Pass it up your COC and they can send it up because that has to be approved by higher up than me. But the only issue with that is I think it'd be hard to figure out who actually needs it, because obviously we don't want people taking advantage of the system and stuff and just they don't want to spend their own money or whatever. So I mean, it's an interesting idea, but I don't know exactly how it would be implemented. But yeah, I mean, if it's something that you want to try and set up, then pass it up your CSE.
Who's Namaton?
I am.
Okay. What are you doing? Building a window, building a house on
This-
top of a hill.
This is my protection. I'm gonna, be here all game. Okay, I can't because I just realized where the zone is, and I'm actually getting fired at. Okay. Who wants to die? Come on, they're basically at the other side of that hill for you. So.
Okay, I'm trying to flank them.
Oh, you're going alone. Okay, fair enough. I can't see a thing up here. Just
Both of us can't shoot straight right now. And I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna run away.
That's not my job. I'm playing solos, just so everyone know. That was not my teammate. I promise. Maybe I should go and actually help him. How many were they?
Wait, he's hiding behind the tree. He's hiding behind the tree. He's drawing you out. He's trying to draw you out. Just let me come
Yes,
to you.
I know he is. Where is he? Like, can you tell me is he close? Okay,
So
I see him.
Butters, if you were a suit, what kind of suit
we're
would you
getting
be?
Oh no.
I would be
Not
butternut.
Why would you be butternut?
My name is Butters. Nut.
You're a nut. Yeah, I don't know what
Did he die?
kind of suit I would be.
Oh, I'll get fired in my back, right? Fair enough.
Well, there's a guy up top on the hill yet.
Yeah, I know. Can I?
Keep going. I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that question. Butters would like to know if you were a suit, what kind of suit would you be? And that's for everyone.
But I would be butternut suit then.
Ah.
Anybody else? What kind of suit
We can.
they would be?
We came second!
Oh man.
There's a whole team on us.
Nice job, guys. Nice job. Second place.
You guys almost won.
Yeah, well, I was bad in the end. I missed so many shots. Don't feel bad. I left you up there, Butters, to die.
Using
So-
as bait.
If I had to be a soup, it would probably be broccoli and cheese soup and a bread bowl from Panera. 'Cause that's my favorite soup. So it would just be me, and me being my favorite.
I would be onion soup because I have many
Oh.
layers.
Fair enough.
Soup
I would
have
say,
many layers, huh?
I would say broccoli as well. I like broccoli, so that's the only reason. Frankly, are we swapping in different players or what are we doing?
Do you want to?
I'm fine with playing more, but it's up to you. I can sit down too.
You have 3 that are sitting out right now. It would be nice if you switched them in.
Yeah.
All right.
Dimeter has to stay because he's streaming.
Jay Andrake's got another question in the chat room. He wants to know, do you have any tips for improving at mechanics and reaction time? I seem to take a while to react to enemy ults.
That's basically just playing a game, learning when and where to react to an ult, and of course knowing all the sounds, depending on if it's an enemy or an allied ult. Mechanic-wise, it's just playing the game and playing the hero you want to have mechanics on.
I think
Yeah.
also you can kind of tell positioning wise from enemies if a Reinhardt's coming in and he's trying to get past the shield and it's been a couple minutes since he's used his ult. You have to think this man's trying to ult right now, and you have to kind of pre-react to it.
I sent you a party request, Kai.
I saw it. Did I join it? No. I clicked on it.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm there? No.
Jay Andrake, a tip that Demeter gave me a couple days ago
There's
was
no space.
have your sound effects way up. You can have your voices and everything else down, but have your sound effects way up. That way you can hear everything.
All right. New team. Still got questions to go through. All right. Is everybody ready?
We got a
Yes.
ton of questions to go through.
Let's do this. All right. What's that
Okay.
question for me?
No, I'm gonna wait till you're in combat.
Oh, okay. Yay!
But I do have a question for everyone on COC. It's what are some things you have seen that can help in leadership roles to improve self and team capabilities and qualities? And the room goes silent.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, sorry.
What are some things you have seen that can help in leadership roles to improve self and team capabilities and qualities?
Personally, from my experience as being squad leader or platoon leader at SOCO, listening and actually taking in what people are saying and using the feedback that they are giving to you appropriately can tremendously help you and even your squad improve 100%. Meeting what they feel that they are lacking in the most is not only going to improve their morale because they're getting what they want, but it's also going to help them in the areas that they want to improve in.
Would anyone else like to weigh in on that while we watch Demeter splat?
This is Mary Poppins' umbrella. There's definitely people here with us, by the way.
Oh, really?
So many people.
Oh my.
These 27 people.
Square's down.
I didn't pick this spot right over the plane.
Square's like to go big or go home. I mean, I definitely think it's to learn a lot of it is listening to your mentors and everything else. The people who have done the position that you're in can help out a lot with those things. And then there are some programs in TG that they offer to help with leadership, such as the TLDC program. We are working on finalizing the PLDC, which is Practical Leadership Dictator, Practical Leader something course. I can't think of what the D is. Lady Muskie, you are all.
I know.
So there are those programs, but you know, most of what I learned as far as being a leader and stuff was from my mentors and my peers.
You always have to accept criticism as well. You can't take it as a negative because then you will never improve. The criticism is the things you actually want, because then you know that you're doing something wrong and they can actually help you with that problem, because they see what the problem is.
I was going to ask Demeter his question while he was in combat, but he kind of like died right away.
Yeah. Retail Row is a very heavily populated area.
Let's all blame Squared.
I don't know. It's a popular area.
Right over the plane is always a popular area.
It was a little bit away. It wasn't right directly down. I went out a little bit. I didn't go straight down.
Hey,
Excuses,
living life is
excuses.
still alive. That's what matters. Carry us to victory.
Yeah, we only need one of us to win. So, and at least she's playing on her console, so I feel like she'll do better than I would trying to play this on PC. So we have a chance.
I've never played solo.
I'm trying to get away from
Guys, if you're not in the stream, you're supposed to be playing quietly.
Sorry.
So not gonna take away. So die in silence. I know.
So, all right, our next question is for anyone in PC Brigade, and that is, who is your favorite member and why is it Theocles?
I want to say that question is a little rigged, say, Theocles here. How do you guys feel?
Well, I'm not sure who that is, so I can't really say.
Ooh, factory hasn't been raided. Look at that. 2 shield pots right off the back, lady. Oh, you're doing good.
You got this, lady.
You're doing good.
No pressure. No
There's somebody coming in.
pressure.
They're on the roof.
Oh, I forgot you have a delay in your stream. I'm like, how do you know this already?
Nice attack. We placed 15th.
Hey, I'll take it. We did really well. Good job. We.
Well,
Okay, this is for all COC. Did you ever consider FGC games? And with the new additions to games that allow you to share replays and actually watch it live, like Overwatch, do you think it would be worth it? Or do you want to just focus on FPS games?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what an FGC game is either. Exempt Superior, what's an FGC game?
Everyone quietly types. Fighting game community. A fighting game?
Oh, I guess like
Dragon Ball, Fighter Z, Tekken, Dead or Alive, stuff like that.
got
Mortal
it.
Kombat, all of them.
what was the question?
It says, do you ever consider FGC games with new additions to games that allow you to share replays and actually watch it live, like Overwatch? Do you think it would be worth it, or do you want to just focus on FPS games?
We have our adventure branch. I don't really know what they mean. Do they mean that if we're gonna like take it in and have a division of fighting games, or?
I think that's what he's trying to ask, is if we're ever going to have like a Tekken League or anything like that. I don't know of any popular fighting games, so I can't give you a great example.
I don't even know if we have a lot of players that, would actually want a division made specifically for that.
Yeah, I mean, any new divisions that want to be made, there's a list of what they need to have that to qualify as a new division. And anything that you're interested in, there's definitely a way on the forums to post that up. Your COC can help you find that link if you're interested in that. Personally, I've never played any of those games, so I cannot really speak to that. Also, I am not picking where we drop, so someone else needs to mark something, please. Thank you.
Okay. Squared, you need to concentrate because you got a really long, detailed question, and while you're falling through the air and picking a place to fall down to, you're going to have to try and answer this one.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. What are the possibilities that we consolidate the different branches of TG, aka TW, TS, and TA, under one banner, TG? Branching these different types of games into different categories should theoretically be more efficient, but the resources, time, energy, etc. it takes to manage these separate entities hasn't really produced tangible results that would warrant the creation of what is essentially smaller communities within the whole. Also, somewhat related, what is the possibility that we move away from using military ranks, awards, titles, and boot camps, etc. in favor of something more modern, less narrow, and it has to be said, less nerdy?
There's at least one other team here with us, by the way.
It made sense to use this military style for the original purpose of TW, Ghost Recon franchise, CH, Rainbow Six franchise, etc. But now as the world of esports evolves and grows, we are made aware of more efficient methods of operating organizations to pertain to video games, so when are we going to follow suit and move forward? Would you like me to just ask
Get him,
you
get him,
each
get him,
part,
guys. He's right here in front of me.
one part at a time?
Hold on one second. Yeah, ask the beginning part. Sorry.
Oh,
What are
no.
the-
How do you say super though?
what are the possibilities we consolidate the different branches of TG under one banner?
Back up, Sword. Back up. Start moving. Start moving. Start moving.
Sorry, I'm being revived. Yeah, you can't look away while you do it, evidently. I learned that earlier.
Demeter, you're brutal.
I mean, personally, I've never been involved in the other branches, so I don't really have
Excuse
a
me.
great answer for all that. I think that would be a better question to ask when the TWC and TGEC do their game nights. But I really don't have a good answer for it, unfortunately. I think that there's definitely the reasons there are different requirements for a game that's in the TG branch versus the TA branch. So I didn't mean to do that, guy. I was using my bandage and then it switched to my gun. So I definitely, there are the reasons for it, and then there are the different practice days and everything for TG versus TA. But unfortunately, I don't really have a great answer for that part. I do apologize.
There's a chest above you, Kai.
I hear it. But what's this?
It's a drink it.
Right now? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was. The one that
It's a
you
drink
said.
it. Okay, fair enough.
Could you not watch me? Thanks.
Okay, another question, another portion of that question is, what are the chances of us moving away from the military style ranking and boot camps, etc.? I paraphrased, I apologize, but
That's fine. That's fine. So being that it was founded as TG, I doubt that it'll go away from being tactical and all that. I didn't pick anything up yet, guys, so don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling at you, I'm just taking everything.
Thanks.
You want something?
No, I don't want anything. You can have it all. But, so I mean, I think that the military branch of it does give it the structure and everything that it would need. I think you'd need some sort of structure to it, whether it was military or if they did switch to something else. I don't
Someone here? Squared northeast.
see them switching to anything else.
listen to that Overwatch freaking communication going on in the background. Squared, northeast. Good call.
Did he go up the hill on top of it, or do you?
I was trying to figure out if any of my guns could be long range. The answer was no, and then I lost it. So I'm gonna guess he continued to go northeast. He probably saw us, most likely.
Oh, he's building something. Maybe? Or no, it's the building that was already there.
Who knows?
Oh, I hear guns.
Somewhere.
That's a good call out. I
If
like
we
it.
get close enough, all my guns will be effective.
Okay, good. And then I'll just sit there and watch it.
Cool. Do you have a gun? Would you like a gun?
Nope, you can keep all the guns. I
There's
have a
right
gun.
here. If you'd like this one, this is a nice one. You can have this gun, and there's a gun over there. You can have this. Oh, this is Gun Depot. There's a med kit. Get a med kit. They're right in front of us.
Ah!
They definitely see us.
Yeah, I felt that. I'm just gonna dance on accident.
Listen. Oh, there's just a couple of them. Don't worry. Just like
I was trying to heal, but I died.
Let me switch to shotgun quick. Hold on.
So
Don't
just
worry.
kill him.
Neither of us can aim. It's fine. I got it.
I thought you got him.
I got one of them. There are 17 of them.
There's only 4.
There was 17. Check
I see 17. I don't think you're watching the screen either. There were 17.
I see some people in the game like to exaggerate a little bit. I mean, I did chase a guy down with a pickaxe and kill him.
I feel like we just had this conversation the other day and telling staff that you couldn't count. So I trust Kai's counting more than yours. Just saying.
You know, unlike in Overwatch, I noticed that this game medals actually matter. So, most eliminations actually translates into team winning.
Yeah, well, some of us are
But
just
that's
focused
not true,
on
though. I
getting
mean,
out of the plane successfully. And that's the goal of the game right now.
I mean, the goal of the game is getting to the end of the game. You can usually get to the end of the game easier by hiding than by fighting. I think that staying together as a team and picking good places is probably the number one. And when you engage in people, make sure that you have the right numbers versus them. And if you don't, back out if you can. I'd say that's number one. I think obviously aim and the ability to kill is very important as well. I wouldn't say that's the most important thing though.
I think dance moves are more important than anything. So I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
keep getting boogie bombs, and I haven't been able to throw one at anyone yet.
What's a boogie bomb?
When I get into combat.
Basically makes them dance.
What?
Yeah, it's funny.
annoying. That was my third death when I played the game.
Oh.
Let's head right here.
Right where?
That's
Blue
a
die.
jump.
It is.
Okay, I just want it to be known that I picked this place at all. And also that the blue marker is a horrible color for this. I don't understand.
And the glide begins.
I thought you guys said it was straight down. And so I went straight down. I was looking at the map. So I won't be with y'all. So this will be fun.
Yay!
So I'm just going to run across the country and see what happens. It's okay. I don't know what you're sorry about. But
I
it's
had
okay.
to quickly leave
Oh, okay.
and jumped out of the plane late. Not to worry.
Oh, no worries. You'll be closer to them than me, so you're doing good. Oh, or maybe you can come hang out with me. Are you any white? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I go there.
So, Demeter, while you're flashing down towards the Earth, how many birthdays do you have per year?
Well, according to the members of PC 1st Battalion, I have one every single day, so 365.
What about a leap year?
Oh, great. Don't give them that, please. No, no.
Well, how did this birthday thing start, by the way, Demeter?
I don't really know, honestly.
Okay. I think if it's your birthday, though, you should require them to give you a present.
Here, lady.
Every single day.
Teach them a lesson.
Oh, thanks.
I'm all about it. I support that.
Okay, so here's another question for anyone in the group. I'm going to actually switch the way this question is worded around a little bit because it's kind of backwards. Tournaments often allow to swap players during a match to fill specific roles. Why can't our Overwatch squads have 12 team members? This is a 6v6 game with many different roles to fill.
I'm down.
Well, we do have 8 members, and as the question even states, it's a 6v6 game, so there's at least 2 members that aren't going to be able to play. In a perfect world, those 2 members would be people that you would swap out in a situation where you could fit them in as needed.
And then, I think it goes along with the question of making the squad size 6 instead of 8. You know, if you had 12, you'd have the same issue with people not showing up and everything else. So,
So it's a question of too few and too many.
I think
Right.
that's, yeah, it makes more sense because if you have a squad of, say, a size 12 squad, if you are that rare squad that does have all of their members show up every single practice, I mean, we have a squad that only 1 member will miss on occasion, so that's 8 people that are showing up consistently to a practice. If that squad had 12 people, that's at least 6 people that either have to play their own game separately or are sitting out of a match. And if you had less than 12, then you would have even less than that, to where they're not making a full stack themselves. I think 8 is a comfortable size to where if you absolutely had to, then the squad lead and squad assistant would be able to sit out to make sure that the squad members are playing and then switch in every so often. But if you have more than that, it just makes a lot more work to balance out the size of the party that's playing, particularly during practice. And to date, I don't think that we've ever had an instance where it's come up that it's been a problem and that we need it.
Yeah, I know that like squads like to swim against each other and stuff, and so I think that that's where you can get the, if you wanted to, you know, would be the only
Lady,
benefit really
they're
of having
firing at us.
having a full 12 would be to be able to do the scrims with you and your squad. You guys better not both die, because Lord knows if I find anybody ever, this is gonna end badly for me. So I definitely think, you know, you can get that. Oh, guys, you can get that scrim sort of environment by doing that. By having two different squads go against each other. Sorry, I was looking at stuff and trying to talk at the same time and it didn't work. Wrong button. So yeah. So that's why we don't have this 12-person squads. If that makes sense. Did you guys both die? Or you're gonna die at least? Because I don't know how I'm gonna get all the way over to you.
They lost track of me, so I'm hiding in a little cubby hole.
Do you think I can get to you?
It's pretty far.
Okay, so here's a question for everyone, and they want everyone to answer. What squad has progressed the most?
So I'd say within your battalion. You know, try and figure out other battalions.
Right.
Hard to say, because squads change, you know. So, is there any that stick out for you guys? 'Cause I can't think of any.
Yeah, for me, within the 2nd Battalion or Brigade, our squad has really, we just gave them a new member. I think he does a lot of shot calling for them, so that's really helped them, like scrims against them out, and they absolutely destroyed. They've scrimmed against. So I think they've come a long way, and but they're mostly a dive. It's going to be interesting to see how they do dive comp being nerfed quite a bit.
On BC First Bet here, a lot of squads have made a lot of improvements. Everyone has been doing a lot better for the past couple months, and no one's in the lead really. I think everybody in my battalion here has met my expectations in some way, shape, or form so far. Granted, some things can always be ironed out still. We all know that. Everything's always an improvement process, but you guys have been doing quite a good job.
Is there anyone left to answer?
I think it's me. Is it on me? I was waiting so I didn't interrupt anyone. PC 2nd Battalion. I don't see any squad in particular doing better than the others, so that's my answer.
And for PS4 First Battalion, I think all squads are doing great. The two that stick out are Peridot and Los Muertos. I think both have come together to form a really good synergy. So I think both of them, I look forward to seeing how they improve, but those two stick out.
Okay, I have a question, personal. Out of PC versus the console games, who do you think would have the best squads for Overwatch?
Best as in.
Best as in, if there was a way we could get these guys to scrim together, who do you think would end up on top?
With a game like Overwatch, it's really hard to say because in reality, any match can turn any way at any time. And all it takes is for just a few mistakes to really turn the tides.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say because we do have it's such a wide range of differences between the squads. Because I have seen most of the squads, at least in game. So it's really hard to say. There's definitely things that each brigade, different squads excel at.
There's a guy right in front of you.
Oh god, there's several people. He sees me, doesn't he?
11 o'clock.
Yeah. Can I duck in the water?
No.
Oh. I was gonna try and hide in the boat or
You
something.
are a boat. Just be a boat. All right, don't be a new boat.
Become one with the boat.
We placed 11th thanks to me, not thanks to any of y'all. Just want to make sure that everyone knows that.
You did absolutely last the longest. You picked a much better spot to land than us.
Yeah, I just didn't understand what we were doing. So no, I think there would be some really good matches if we could do if Overwatch was cross brigade. I think we could have a lot of fun with. I mean, not cross brigade, but cross platform. Which is cross brigade, I guess, to a degree. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But I think it'd be too hard to tell. Who would be the best? Butters, Nom, Dungeoneer, do one of y'all want to switch in? I can sit out for at least a couple.
I can switch in. I'm fine with it.
I can continue to listen and try to give input, but I'm mostly on mute. I will not be able to play it.
Okay. If you want to take Kai and myself out, Dimeter, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm looking at the
You
screen,
can
so the
put
game.
me out too if people.
I don't think we need to. I think you could stay. How do I leave the game? Or do I just wait for you to kick me? That sounds like a plan.
It's like Blizzard World. Once you're in, you're stuck.
Like,
You can't go away.
like, just kick me. I don't know how to do this. Yeah, and then the other ones can join in.
Like, if we want to see it objectively on the question of what the best squad is, then I would say the squad with the highest SR is basically the best squad, if you want to look at it in that way.
Which
I don't actually
I
know who it is.
believe. I don't know about second squads on PC side. I don't know the SRs there, but I'm tempted to say it would be Paragon PC. First back.
Because I think,
Their SRs currently.
let's see, Varus squad is average 3.6, I think. 3,600, if I remember correctly. That's their average. They have a bit of, up and down
Yeah.
with all the other players. Might have fallen down now.
Yeah. Do you know where Paragon is, Dimeter?
Master level?
Okay.
So around between 2,500 and, up to like 4,000.
So they'd be probably pretty close. So
I let
know-
one of you guys pick where we drop.
I'm fine with anything. I'm trying to, shoot and kill people. So.
All right, Lonely Lodge it is. Any other questions from the stream chat there, Broken?
No, actually, the stream's gone pretty quiet lately. I asked you guys to get more questions. Let's see if we can get some more.
What about from our lovely handy list? We got anything in there?
Yeah, actually, we got several questions left over. I was just kind of waiting until the right moment. Basically,
Dominator was in battle.
yeah.
No, I was just checking over here real quick.
If he could ever live longer than 5 minutes in a match, we can get that question out. For someone that's got such good aim in Overwatch, what's up, man?
Shots fired.
Whoa. I think we will have to settle this after this event tonight, Broken.
Let's keep it civil, guys. Come on.
Okay, question.
Okay, so Demeter, when you're swapping between several FPS games, how do you keep your mouse sensitivity about equal in all games while also taking pixel skipping into account? Since there's not only your DPI, but the in-game sensitivity as well.
Every game has its own sensitivity settings. Every game deals with sensitivity differently. And it's really getting a feel for your own aim in any given game at any time and adjusting it to what you feel comfortable with playing that specific game.
So how do you personally compensate between all the different games?
Trial and error. Literally, that is my biggest go-to. I will sit there, I'll play a few games on one setting. If it doesn't feel right or close to what I'm used to, I swap it up a little bit. And I keep doing this until I get it to where I believe it should be at. Because I know what it feels like aiming in the other FPS games that I play. And it's one of those things that you just get a knack for, get a feel for. Pixel skipping, on the other hand...
Lots of depth and experience then, huh?
Yes, pretty much. Pixel skipping, on the other hand, that's not actually hard to deal with. Keeping your mouse in increment of 400 and not going crazy on your in-game sensitivity will usually result in no pixel skipping anyways. So that's something to keep in mind if you're having trouble with the pixel skipping problem.
I'm looking for a new question for you guys. So PC Brigade or battalions, who can beat Paragon?
I mean, do you want a small one?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I got a chest over here. Bottom floor. Ooh. Mine.
Well, I didn't want to steal it from you, son. So how do we go down?
You parkour down.
Okay. Also, for everyone on COC, do the squads ever enter tournaments, or would it be possible to have a battalion-wide mini tourney at some point?
We tried that before an Xbox One, and I've always wanted to do that, and I've always liked that idea. But like anything else, everyone says they want to do it, and then unfortunately sometimes squads are like, just tell me where to be, and we don't. It's never finalized. People don't sign up for it, and everyone says they want to do it, but then we don't get the secondary interest from the squads with an actual signing up thing. I would be totally open for it. I have been, since it was originally suggested like 6 months ago. I think that would be a lot of fun to do for an event. We just gotta have this squad support as well.
Okay, as a follow-up to that question, something that I thought of, what about doing a pickup tourney? So just on any given practice night, just tell everybody, hey everybody, we're gonna be picking teams and going head-to-head across the entire TG.
The problem with that is that the cross-platform doesn't work, so we'll have to.
Well, I meant within the battalions. So like all 1st Battalion, all 2nd Battalion console games.
I think the biggest problem with that most people that play, of course, there are a lot of people that play without, like not on our training hours and so on, but there's also a lot of people that only play with their squads on the training hours and don't show up to events. So I think the attendance is the biggest problem to have events.
Yes, events like that can be attendance issue. I've ran a couple tournaments and stuff like that in the past. I've actually had some decent turnouts at points, but it's always hit or miss.
If attendance is good on any given night, then maybe you can just...
Players, west, close. There's him.
Yep.
Attendance is good among all the... Maybe just run it on the night.
I mean, if that's something that you want to run during practice, that's something that we can discuss during. If all the squads, you know, obviously it would be up to the individual squads whether or not they want to participate in that. But then it's figuring out how you get the teams decided, because obviously you don't want to have them too one-sided and have people be discouraged. That's why an event that Xbox does, it's an event outside of practice, is just an afternoon scrimmage where it's not tournament style, but just they get together and choose team captains, and it's kickball style sort of picking of the teams, and then you play one game and then the teams get split up. So if it is a total, you know, massacre after, you know, one game, it's not an entire, you know, afternoon of being on a team that's not fair, fairly sorted with the other. So, but it's definitely something if people want to do during practice time, we could discuss and see how many people wanted to do it and all. See if that's something that the squad staff would be interested in doing.
Okay. That was a much better answer than I was expecting. Thank you.
Sorry, you don't have high expectations for us.
Well, no, I was just because, you know, I've often wondered the same thing many times, and I just thought, you know, I didn't take into account the attendance type thing, and you guys gave a really great answer. Thank you. All right, we've got another question from the chat room. This is from DuddyTX17. Where can my Overwatch squad get a solid foundation for communication practice aside from just going into comp as a 6-stack?
You don't always have to go into competitive to practice communication. You can use custom games, put a bunch of bots in there, and work on focus fire, calling out what target to focus, getting everybody to focus on that one target. There's a lot of different things you can actually do in quick play or even in the arcade games that, as long as everybody's taking it seriously, will help you improve the communications. Now, if you're looking for like specific on things that I could recommend for communication, is to keep it short and to the point. The more you actually say, the less information is actually conveyed. So being precise with your callouts is key to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as practicing communication, it's just, you know, the more you play, the better you're going to get at it. Teaming up with people and or going into game chat even, and just communicating with whoever's there. I think the more you do it, the better you get at it. Go to Haunted Hills.
Okay, we have a question from iDreamEater. If you play mainly DPS and flex to support sometimes, what should you learn as far as the basics to be a better off-tank and healer? Because I main Tracer Soldier, but can play Ana Zen, Moira, Diva, Roadhog, Orisa, McCree, Sombra, Widow, and May. But when I flex to those heroes, I don't know actually what to look for.
The one thing that I have found to literally translate over to every hero is good positioning. Good positioning. And knowing why those positions are good and not just going to where somebody's telling you to go. Having that game knowledge and the game sense of why you're doing this is going to improve your gameplay overall.
Okay, this question goes out for everyone. Where do you bury the toxic members? I have a few bodies I need to bury. That's from our predetermined list.
Unfortunately, I cannot give where I bury them. I don't know if anyone else.
If you tell anyone, that's when they come and take you away.
Yeah, so I can't. I'm very sorry. I can't tell you where they go. But they do have a special place. I can tell
Go
you.
in a very, very secret place.
Okay, Jay Andrade's got another question. This is, what do you guys think about TG, about doing TG OWL?
Isn't that like the same question though? Like, it's the attendance issue again, and
No, I think this is more along the lines of not a tournament within us, but getting together an actual tournament league, tournament team for Overwatch League. I think that's where he's going with this
For
question.
open?
I don't know.
I believe that's where you start, right? If you wanted to consider being on a bigger team, you would go into open.
well, yeah, the Open League, but we are at least PC Second Battalion has one team that is in the Open Division, and we had another team that didn't get in the Open Division, so.
I think the squads would just have to show interest in it. Just tell us if that's what they want.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem is getting squads and the squad staff and the members to be dedicated enough to put in the time and the work for it. I mean, I'd love to see it happen. I would love to have a TG team in the Overwatch League. And even just having one on the Open is really cool.
The problem.
More of that, but it's definitely hard to get the members and everyone to be dedicated enough and to be able to put in enough time because obviously, you know, this is not a paid position and most of us have jobs or school or something, so it's hard to be able to put that kind of time and dedication into it.
Do we even have the mechanical strength for that with our players?
Some of them I'd say yes.
I mean, because we've all had our moments of, oh my, whoa, watching Overwatch League. And I'm wondering, since I haven't seen all of our players play, I'm wondering if we've got anyone that, has wow factor when they play.
Well, those guys play Overwatch for their job, so they wake up in the morning and they play, 8 to 12 hours of Overwatch. And I think if anyone and any of our and anyone in our division did that, they could absolutely get that good. And it would just have to be that commitment and have to be someone who can play 8 to 12 hours a day without having a job or going to school. So I don't know if that person right now exists in the division, but they might, or they might soon.
We got 9 seconds before the storm closes in, and we are far ways away.
And you are the farthest from us. We're already, we're cowards. We're running.
I'm coming.
Languager, do you have ammo for like an AR?
Not much.
I have like 48, so.
I am sitting at 84, sir.
Do you have minis?
Yeah, I got some minis.
I'll trade you a big one if you want.
Let's wait until we get into the storm first.
Come on.
So they got
Just run, man, run. I don't want to be infected. No!
Do you actually run faster with a big axe?
about wanting to compete in the Overwatch League. Is that what that question was?
Mm-hmm.
Like another concern for me would be, where would you get funding for them to compete in the Overwatch League? Because doesn't it cost a heck of a lot per team?
But don't we have like a sponsoring thing in TG? The thing is, we don't use like that esports part of TG is not active at the moment. And we don't have, because we don't have players for it.
Funding to open up an Overwatch.
We do some funding. I don't know how expensive. Yeah, I don't know how expensive it is to open up an Overwatch League team. I've honestly never looked into it. There's people building on that island straight ahead of y'all. But I have absolutely no idea how much it would cost. But anytime that there's
it was really, really expensive.
Yeah, well, but I don't know if we'd have that kind of funding. But anytime that there is a team wants to participate in, and if it does cost money, that is something that they just have to speak with their CSC about, and we can see if we can get some help with that funding. That's part of what the sponsorship money is used for, is to help with those things. But obviously, if there's a limit, I'm sure, I don't obviously know that amount, but there's a limit to how much money can be used. So I have no idea how expensive the Overwatch League is to join, but I have a feeling it is not cheap.
No.
What about any smaller prize tournaments that might be occurring?
Yeah.
Understand we may not have the bandwidth or the funding to enter into an Overwatch League type tourney, but what about smaller money tournaments, smaller prize tournaments?
Yeah, definitely. If there's any out there that you guys are wanting to get involved in and do, someone should pick up Lady. Okay, someone is. Thank you. But
Don't you worry, we're not leaving her.
Dimeter is.
Well, that was because one was already picking her up, Can't be like 3 people.
Yeah.
But no, definitely for the smaller tournaments and stuff. Financially, if there's anything that a team needs, let your CSC know that you're interested in doing it and how much it costs and the details of the tournament. And
Do you have any healing?
we can see it from there.
No, just this one I'm using now. That's all I have.
Fair enough.
I got a porta fort.
By the way.
Did we kill the team that we were fighting, or what happened?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
Did they have like zero loot or what happened?
I didn't stick around to find out, honestly.
Fair enough.
So this is for the battalion commanders, which would be all of you, I guess. What are the long and short-term goals of your battalions?
I'll let somebody else go first this time.
I would say basically growing the number of squads and then keeping those squads active, so we don't have to ever close a squad. That's my answer.
I'm being shot at.
Behind her.
Not sure. They're using a bow. Yep, behind me.
Oh, they're right side. South? Yeah, south.
Or can't I?
There's two of them.
PC, do you guys have any long/short-term goals for your squads?
Well, I am from PC, so
Not PC, I'm sorry. PS4. My bad.
that's fine. Start
I
off
think
coming
our
in.
biggest thing is keep growing, because we have a couple people in pool, which is our intro squad, but we would definitely like to have more. And then just keep growing and keeping attendance up, because I think that's one of our biggest issues. So
I guess that's the danger we're running.
They're really low.
Is that, yeah, they're running.
I just hit one for 66 on health.
Kai, do you have anything for Xbox goal-wise?
Honestly, it's the same. That's our job. Do more recruiting, get more members in, get more members staying for longer amounts of time. Get more members playing with each other from different squads, active and coming to events.
There are 3 people. Yep.
I'm down.
Ooh, butters from where?
No.
I think for my battalion for PS4, improving communication would be another thing. Like, a lot of members just tell us that they like having a tough time, like whether it be with work or with their personal life. Like I'll find out from maybe squad leaders. I'll try and get a hold of them and speak to them and say, look, like you can things wrong, and if you need to go and leave. And then obviously just growing the squads, just keeping attendance up. The goals for my battalion. But I think improving communication would be
No, basically, as a division-wide, recruitment and retention are definitely 2 of the main focuses for everybody. Because obviously without our members, the Overwatch division's nothing. So we definitely need to recruit and retain our members, and then also help to develop those members into new squad staff and battalion staff. And great job on the 5th place finish. And just, help that, because then in turn, as, we get stronger and our staff gets stronger, obviously there will be a time when it comes and people decide to go to another game or anything, and I'd like for it to be where, Overwatch has these stronger leaders that are going to other games and are just, taking what they learned here and, kicking butt in other divisions too. I mean, I'm not saying I want to lose any of you guys, but.
Okay, this is for anyone and everyone, mainly DOC. there are 3 questions. They're all kind of along the same lines. I'm going to read out all 3 questions and then pull out bits and pieces from those questions for you guys to respond to. Okay, the first question is, I'm sure that TG Code of Conduct / the handbook were written a long while ago, but have we ever challenged the status quo? Have you ever thought that perhaps the stringent rules of TG, while making the environment family friendly, make it less enjoyable for others? The second question is, in some divisions, the policy regarding offensive language, aka cursing, swearing, etc., is not as big of a deal as it is in other divisions. While I agree that there are times when one shouldn't use certain types of language, I and many others feel that policing certain types of language is not a productive usage of time and energy. So my question is this: is there a potential for a more relaxed policy in regards to language? And the third question was specifically for Squared, but I'm lumping it in with this one because they're all kind of running along the same theme, is has there been any consideration for an 18 plus only division for TG? So why don't we start off with what would be the barriers for the 18 plus division?
I mean, as far as Overwatch is definitely has a lot of the younger members. So I don't know how easily it would be to create a division of 18 plus. I know that we don't want to discriminate on many factors. So I mean, we do to a degree on age already, but because we, want mature, like-minded members. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily be against an 18 plus division. That would be something that would be up to, TG, CTWC, to make that call on doing so. But yeah, I mean, it would be an interesting idea for sure. But I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that the 18 plus division would probably be a requirement before we ever got into the other 2 questions, which is the stringent code of conduct and handbook rules. So do you guys have any comment on the code of conduct / handbook rules that were written so long ago? And do you think that they make the game less enjoyable for anyone? Someone other than Squared.
Was there a specific rule that was mentioned?
Mostly the language.
Yeah, this is mostly in regards to language. I myself have problems. These are all pre-questions, but personal note from me is I myself have problem with language. Prior military. The F-bomb is the universal adjective type deal. So I get cautioned quite a bit. Not that I go overboard. But along the offensive language, do you think that there is a reason that we monitor language so strongly, even if it's not, people throwing salt at each other?
I think that language, bad language usually leads to that. I feel like if we're playing competitive and we're cursing left and right, it's going to be a more toxic game. It's going to be a game we might not win. It's going to be a game that we're going to get saltier. Whereas I think games where you don't use that and you use positive communication go a lot better. I personally, I obviously a lot of us curse in our real lives. We're not saying that, but I think it makes gaming better. It makes communication better. So I wouldn't really see the reason to get rid of it. That's my opinion on it.
I see the rules as basically the same way that Overwatch is battling their toxicity, like the toxicity that really like already exists in the Overwatch community. We don't want that part of the Overwatch community to be a part of TG, and that's why the code of conduct is as they are, because we're trying to fight that toxicity, and bad language is a big part of it.
Would anyone else like to share their thoughts or feelings on the language or code of conduct?
I think it is good to try to keep the language in check. Obviously, like everyone says, every now and then a member does some bad language, but if, like everyone said, if you on staying positive, control your language, it does help with the squads. And like within my battalion, there's some members who've come in and bad, got it under control as they've practices, like an improvement, decrease in toxicity within the, and also an improvement just in the and the play, the general play of the teams.
Okay, moving along to a different subject. So, my team, Carbon Fiber, we've seen a lot of burnout in recent months. What advice would you give players who feel like they're burning out?
Request a leave. If they really need if they don't feel like Overwatch is their game and they're just tired after every practice because they don't think the game is fun, then request a leave from your CSC and, well, try and play something else, and then later on, hopefully they will come back and hopefully play better then.
Can I also add to that?
Yeah, go.
I think with the one squad, one of my squads, I noticed that a lot of them were, and they were playing really badly. And I think what they did was they started like they would have one practice where they had a serious practice and they focused on tactics, where they would just have some fun. So maybe just make custom games or even just go into the arcade and play anything, but they would just focus on having fun and taking a break from that sort of I think it would be good for some squads if it's getting too serious. I think it would be good just to focus on enjoying a game and just going back to having fun, just taking a break from the competitive play.
We have one guy to our north, guys.
Oh, you're far away from me, sorry.
No, I definitely think taking a break from seriousness can help. And kind of mixing it up. And then I think, taking a break from the game as a whole can also help. So going on leave is never, out of the question either. But I think just changing up instead of just always, we have squads that always just do comp, and it's always, focusing on that. And I think throwing in some arcade or some custom or, coming to an event where they do something different instead of just always doing the serious game types against, randoms and stuff. I think that helps when it's also against TG members, because then it's a much less toxic environment, at least with editing. So I think that helps to also not get so burnt out. Because I'm sure that there's been times that all of us get tired of the game or whatever else, but you gotta find something else. And that's one thing that I do love about Overwatch. They constantly are just coming up with new game modes, new maps. There's been a lot of new things that have released, which is cool. So like with the Retribution event, you know, that wasn't just, well, we can do quick player comp and that's all we can do. There's all, you know, a different mode that you can play. I think that helps for sure.
Behind. Diamond, are you? What are you finding? I see them. I see them. Knocked.
Wait, hold on, brothers. Here, take that. Take it.
The little one.
I don't know where the other one is.
Could be 3 more. So boogie bomb. Joink. Mine.
Everyone, I want everyone to note this. Demeter has finally won a firefight.
I might add that I was the one that knocked that guy, though. So. Some help, Dimitri. You know, you needed my help.
No, he was he got caught in the head with body with a sniper rifle bullet first.
Wait, can I?
Can you?
I boogie bombed it.
Thanks.
Those bombs are very fun, actually. Oh yeah, Lady and Butters. I have one big shield for one of you.
Give it to Butters. I trust him more.
Well, you can take the small one because you can still shield up a bit with the small one.
All right, guys, we're on an hour and 45 minutes. Do you want to keep going, or?
Are there still questions, or?
No, there's no real questions left. I just put out a last chance for questions in the chat room. But we've covered everything on the sheet.
And if there's nothing else, then
Yeah.
call it on this game.
In case you weren't here at the beginning, Dimeter is recording this, and we'll post a link to the recorded session in the chat in the Discord, so you guys can catch up on any of the questions that you might have missed. But if there's no more questions, we definitely appreciate all the battalion staff and division staff that were here today. I appreciate you guys for making this happen. If this is something that anybody, whether it's the people here or the people who were watching us, if you're interested in having us do this again, you know, I'll probably send out a poll about that. It will be the easiest way to get feedback, and you know, we can do it again, do it with a different game that maybe won't be so frustrating. For those of us who don't know how to use our PC for gaming.
I had a game in mind. The problem is I don't know if it's cross-platform.
Well, if it's a free game,
It is a free game. It is
Then-
yeah. Playing south in the village, like
Yeah.
150. Darwin Project. Look at it it's on Steam. It's a battle royale game with the.
because I do like these, even if it's, you know, we could also use these games for a you know, event, not just for a question answer night, but that way we can get people from other platforms to be able to play with each other. I just, you know, I'm not going to ask anyone to buy a game, so especially doing it as like a battalion question answer night, I'm not going to do that to you guys. But if it's free and it doesn't take a whole lot of requirements on the PC,
It is a battle royale game, but the thing is, I think it's only like 10 players. Battle royale game, and one has basically all the powers. There's a game master in the game that like drops all the loot and so on.
There's only
interesting.
one left, Butters.
There's only one left. Oh, coming right from the
Come to you. Come to you.
Oh, damn.
Oh well.
Kill him, Dimeter. No, Dimeter. Really?
Really.
But no, so on that note, I appreciate y'all coming out. After this game, we'll end the stream though. But if you guys think of any questions that you're gonna ask, feel free to ask your CSC, and if they don't know the answer, they can help find out. They can ask us. So yeah. What place did you guys finish?
Sixth.
Fifth place.
Was it fifth? I thought it was
Fifth.
sixth.
Well, I looked like fifth on my screen.
Okay, fair enough.
So
We
but no,
did good.
Yes. So thank you guys for coming out. It's been great.
Yep.
Have a good night, and we'll see you at practice tomorrow.
Indeed.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.